And we're back. We're back for part 2, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. In real time, part 1 and part 2 is legit seconds apart. But for YouTube's sake, let's say it's days apart. Maybe even weeks even. Knowing me, probably months. You might be even seeing this in 2025. But I promise, you'll be seeing this in no time at all. April 20th, 12:14 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 2. Rubble, part 2, rubble. But when I reconvene, as our witness was overly recovered.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she regained consciousness.
Perhaps we could hear a version of the events again.
That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking quite fatigued yourself, Mr. Byrne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing a testimony or prosecute. The defense would like to request Ms. O'Reilly take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Perhaps you can repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser. Not.
Hey, yo! She's a pirate?
Name's Ogler, really. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Crickfingers, or really.
Oh, really?
Wanna know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like oh really. There's the truth. I hope you're satisfied.
Rubble, she's hot, rubble.
Witness, you will tell the court what you really were up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? I remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
No, we're not. We never hold people in contempt of court. Not ever.
Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the DBC several days prior to the night of the crime. As a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim? Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend. The unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple. Elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith will call him out and search Wright. We'll then pull out to plant the card, and the trap would snap shut.
You swapped the cards.
Expose it to cheater and losing on top of it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating will cast doubt when any of his player wins.
A 7-year-old legend, destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
She's still gorgeous to me!
Oh really? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake.
A mistake?
I agree. The trap was elegant. Yet, what happened to the planted card? Hey, that's right! He's lucky. I'll give him that. You have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quickfingers, oh really?
Oh really? The witness will be much cuter if she dispensed with that evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute? Bitch, I'm adorable. I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad.
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap, and how was it sprung?
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. Ed Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Fred picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me, Mrs. Smith. It was that no-good, cheating defendant. Interesting.
A surprising frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trip was perfect, I tell you. Perfect. If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking.
Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice.
With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Very true. Very true indeed. Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright and thoroughly and found nothing. Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... Oh, she's scratching her neck. What was that just now? I sensed something. In my pants. Can't be shown by attorneys.
Something wrong, Mr. Justice. Your eyes are poking out of your head.
No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press him on her a little harder? Miss O'Reilly, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You... Me? Foot fingers?
The defense will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Oh, she's scratching her neck again. She's scratching her neck again. Yup. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? That witness, for instance. Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you not notice? Idiot. Touching her neck, was it? Whoa, what's going on? The sensation is coming into focus. There, that twitch is so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before.
Gotcha!
Gotcha! Also, is this new voice acting? Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain point of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? My neck, my back, lick my, and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my, and my crack. So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory. She touches her neck. I'm sure of it.
A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about? This guy is an expert at chatting. Okay, he's a just chatting attorney. He's not a true attorney. He's a freaking fraud. He's a fraud, I say, a fraud.
This is highly unusual, but it's as an offense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us.
Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So, what will remind her most of the moment of the crime? No, so really, whenever you recall the night of the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe that weapon that left an irreversible impression on your neck is this. Oh, I think she got hit with the bottle.
Take that!
Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle? The murder weapon. But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would you make that why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain?
What's he talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you.
This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witnesses' habits? They're completely irrelevant.
Justice. I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination.
I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now's our chance to break her.
Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment.
And yet, I am knowing nothing.
We know you're not Russian. You fraud.
The witness will testify, please, now.
Bah! Fine. He's the one who did it. I don't know on my side until the cops got here.
Hold it!
You seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Her eyes are darting all over the place. You must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well... He must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at that table until the cops came. We got the cell phone to prove that's not the case. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So, what do you think of her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is... flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
What's that?
Well, shows as evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony.
She didn't let him out of his sight until the cops got there?
Take that!
It's the cell phone. Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It says that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the BBC. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. The man who picked up a bottle and swung it at night wasn't the defendant. Right. Showdown time. You dirty cheat! Check his pockets now! It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Arrgh! Just then, Mrs. Smith grabbed the bottle from next to Wright. And he hit me!
You some master of cheating you turned out to be.
Eek! When I came to, the victim was already dead.
Oh, the victim was already dead, is that it?
That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure.
Well, where does this leave us?
Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming.
Am I dreaming?
It must have been me who was hit with a bottle, and I'm imagining all this.
Hold on. I
I gotta make sure it's not a dream. I got CTE now, Your Honor.
It appears our prosecution is at its wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this sort of event?
Mr. Gavin? Sir? I believe that, as a defense in this case, you are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big fat liar. What? Three were in that room the night of the murder. The defendant, the victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder. What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap! Someone's trying to frame me! What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled, we catch ourselves in the process.
Mr. Wright?
Such a hasty conclusion. It sounds like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, that was what I was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know two colors of cards were being used. A fourth person.
This theory again. Your fourth person doesn't exist.
Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal.
The real criminal?
And, a clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about? Sorry. He's talking about when Gavin said, the two men wet in blue flames, which means... And then when Pam was talking about,
Oh, he's just using poetry to describe the cards, sir.
when at that point of the case, none of us knew that there were two decks being used, for one. And we had no idea that there were red cards and blue cards being used. Remember what I said. The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color on the backs of those cards. Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there was one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, maybe you can figure out who it was.
It's not me, I swear.
Where's this fourth person?
Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue?
Take that!
As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right. Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But of course, Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor, or the table. But look! You can see the color in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before the evidence came to light. It is true that the defendant were engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet there was only that, a game, in the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits. A silent class of passions. Only the cards, their backs wept in blue flame, knows final outcome. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin! Is something the matter?
Oh, no. Excuse me, it was just so... sudden. Right. You aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff. You know even I never take a joke this far.
This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder.
I assure you, I'm quite sick.
But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I connection Mrs. Smith either.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met.
Well, what if they have?
Huh?
There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night, before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request you... The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How can anything happening before the game report be related?
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly...
Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is a defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you.
Oh, okay.
Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
This was Wright's strategy. He was playing us all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. Me too, Justice. You would betray me. Your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth.
Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please.
Let's get cracking with the napping, shall we? That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in his photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the witness. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was under control. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call. The defense attorney, Gavin.
Mr. Gavin! You were at the BBC the night of the murder?
I dealt with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into a little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong.
Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice!
Sir!
He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright, this can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? You'll never have a normal trial, I fear. Get ready to learn about Phoenix Wright, buddy.
Hold it!
You had dinner, Mr. Gavin? Yes. He dines with me at the BBC quite frequently. We were enjoying the usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see. Or Miss Smith was there.
So the plates and such were from your dinner?
Indeed. The remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, and Kristoff left. After that...
Hold it!
5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed in a restaurant during that time? That would have been a faithful encounter, to be sure.
Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Kristoff, Gavin, and Shady Smith may have met?
I believe I did say that.
Here I was all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear they just passed in the hall.
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder.
Oh, it would be, if that were all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. Where are you hiding this time? Okay. You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down at the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at that time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night, after all. So, there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making a call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. When I returned, he was dead. Blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. Hold it! And when you returned, the victim was already dead, yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in.
A little?
He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'll be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that. Hold it! Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I obviously got involved in a rather sticky affair, and I figured Kristoff's law offices would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Miss Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him, now. Yes, sir. What was I trying to tell him this testimony? I'll press someone. Hold it! The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to put the card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut.
You swapped the cards!
Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. I don't know why I made different voices for Olga like that, but it just seemed to work. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it.
A quirk?
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card. Before the game.
Dispose? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The murder weapon? Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see.
A bottle was between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like a terrific drama.
A card inside the murder weapon? That's strange. Yeah, because when I examined it, there's nothing in there. There's nothing in there at all. Alright, took a look. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes. I've examined this bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No.
What, Mr. Wright? Surely, ... isn't all you have to say for yourself.
I can't say that I know what happened to that card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Wait a minute. I want to say I believe the bottles got swapped, because there's a lot of bottles here. Perhaps a 5th person came and took it out. Oh, and a 6th person could have helped. And then a 7th person could have done this. And fuck you, Wright.
Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client.
My apologies, Your Honor.
I wouldn't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing.
What's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? No. Or did the card just disappear? Like magic, perhaps? Magic? I'm stroking my imaginary beard.
afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence.
Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. Break him. Get him on his knees. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. KO! I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore.
Hold it!
Why in the bottom? I perceived my opponent's attempt immediately. He used to entrap me, you see. I knew what was coming.
Oh, so you struck first. I like that.
I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least, when you get lucky, it's taking any of popular.
Hold it! Hold it! Hold it!
I just gotta keep pressing until I find something. Just keep on pressing, keep on pressing. I discovered a trap during the game and disposed of the card. I have a strange feeling this might be it. Because the bottle is open in the photo. And with the bottle already being open, it wouldn't make any sense for this bottle to be the same bottle as this bottle. You get what I'm trying to say?
Objection!
Fuck! I'm gonna try this time.
Objection!
Fuck my balls.
Hold it! Hold it!
I legit can't find it.
Hold it! Hold it!
Do I just press them on every single statement? I think that might be the play here. I should just press them on every single statement. So I pressed that. I pressed that. I pressed that. Actually, I pressed everything.
Hold it!
Oh! Oh! How do you notice the cut on his forehead? Where you can't with the hat?
Objection!
This is why I'm one of the best attorneys on twitch.tv, .edu, .gov, .org.
fraudulent.com.
Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes. Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it.
Mr. Wright, can you explain this in the court?
Oh, I forgot to mention something. I was one who put the hat on his head.
Hey?
You put the hat on the dead man's head?
I went through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view, shining bright, just like in his photograph.
And?
This head was different. On his head.
Why would you do such a thing like that?
All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So really didn't see it? It being the victim's head? I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It riddles with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. When I noticed the trap, I put the card in a bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well.
A reason?
That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with Professor Attorney Gavin at the call of the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I should have played it back for the court. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, you turned out to be good? You turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard. I mean, someone cracked that flawless bone china pate. Oh, bone china pate. It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please, the cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands, should it come to that. Bone china plate? A kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but pate. Oh! Oh! So Phoenix is saying, how did Gavin know the dude was bald? And if he tries to say, well, it's the evidence, well, the conversation was recorded well before then. And Phoenix has no way of, editing audio and stuff, because I don't think he's that much of a tech. I don't think he's that tech savvy. So, and mind you, I have played this case, several years ago, but I never thought about this case like this before. So, this is really my first time experiencing a case like this, especially after my Phoenix Wright experience. So this is pretty crazy. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead.
The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead.
Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So, after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the BBC? Most certainly. Then, then how did he know? When did he see this bone china pate?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, that was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. When I spotted Mr. Lieutenant again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this in court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin. Let's come down to this house, Phoenix Wright.
Rubble, rubble, iron face, rubble, rubble. Order, order, Mr. Bird.
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear defense attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, as the prosecutor, I.
Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes, in which Mr. Gavin will take this down for cross-examination. Are we clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well. This will be the final recess for the day. Now get the fuck out.
Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who had thought today would turn out like this? May I?
Hey, yo.
Who the heck are you? Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please, pick a card. What's all this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand's about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. An ace. Where do I remember that card from? So there was a fifth ace this whole time. Is this blood? You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what all this meant. That girl, I seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. Ooh, I love this. I love that. A professional swindler. Never change, Winston Payne. Never change.
But we're now reconvened. Defense attorney Crystal Gavin, will you please take this down? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. The witness state his name and occupation.
Is this farce necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this court. I've had to cross-examine parrots. I've had to talk to fucking walkie-talkies. I even had to talk to dead people, or at least who I thought was dead people, but turned out to be some sort of conjuring of sorts, and it has completely messed up my mind upon generations. This is just Noble Tuesday.
Fine, I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. Hold on just a second, I'm trying to charge my controller here because I'm afraid my controller might die. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat?
By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
Oh shit. I wanna call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Oh, bitch. Mr. Wright! What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit.
Oh!
When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer, is what you're trying to say.
Not bad, Apollo. Rubble, Gavin, rubble, killer, rubble, Gavin. Mr. Gavin?
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
What?
Oh, I assured you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my colleagues, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation I see no reason behind anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night.
Finally! You may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fatal night?
Oh, it's already picking up fast! The rage I sensed to that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim is dead as he appears in the photo. A bald head, a conscious girl in white, holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when a call came from Wright. Great cat.
So, you witnessed the murder?
For what better what was, I missed the actual moment of the deed.
Mr. Gavin, I remind you that you are on Miss Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. Rubble, liar face, rubble.
What else could I say? What can I say, Your Honor? What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? I'm standing on a witness stand after all. Or, as the kids say, I'm standing on business, perhaps?
So you are, Mr. Gavin.
And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of crime through that little window. Mr. Wright, you had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Oh!
Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm fine. Can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial's getting weirder and weirder.
Hold it!
That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers, his aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that.
So then, you knew the true nature of your client's job?
Of course. But I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that you know. They were friends after all. Word from my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I fear that Mrs. Smith might be someone to settle an old score.
I see. What happened then?
I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout.
Hold it!
Wait a minute. It doesn't really make any sense. You mean the one you used to keep watch from up the stairs? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The black marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears have been unfounded? I've been walking on their bad form, to say the least. So far everything you say makes sense.
Hold it!
How did you know it was right after the murder? Really, who need a show, Justice? I was just getting to that part of my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West we know and love. When you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you've changed too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. We're friends like these, who needs enemies?
Hold it!
When he was dead, Miss Wright came along to replace his hat.
Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
Hold it!
Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes. As far as I saw, at least.
Then we're back where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why did you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the real motive of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime.
Justice, just said I saw no one, not a soul.
But that goes against what Mr. Wright said.
Ah, yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would it conveniently be the real killer, I suppose? Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you could show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary. Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. The 5th ace, right. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out.
Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why would a killer take a 5th ace?
Take that!
My reason is,
This!
Is that an ace?
unless it's in a lost hand.
Why, it's got blood on it! Right next to the spade!
What? Oh, you switching. I like that. Don't switching for me, bitch.
This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be? Could this be the missing 5th ace? Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card?
Well, that's the thing.
Why does Gavin so upset? Just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, my card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the BBC that night after the murder had occurred. I give it to my daughter. Cards are a stock and trade after all.
Objection!
No! Impossible! Unacceptable! This court can't accept this evidence! It's a fraud! Fraud? I can be so sure. Actually,
I bet she's going to say the back is blue.
What? I would think the only person who claimed it was a fraud would be the one who took the real part from the crime scene, the real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if the trace of blood was the reason?
The reason for?
For the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Taking a look at the photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his head fell to the floor. A trickle of blood ran from his forehead down to the back of his head. One a drop of that blood had fallen on top of one of the cards. Suppose the bullet then took the card to hide the blood.
Objection!
Regardless, that evidence is not permissible. Oh. Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence? Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? I wanted to know why the killer had taken the card from the crime scene. And now I've told you that one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see.
Objection!
This is baseless conjecture. Baseless.
Objection!
Oh, I assure you it's quite based. I assure you it is base as fuck. What? It is amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. The murder took place in a hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And then, before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there was one decisive problem with the scene. Well, what is it? Oh, I know what it is. Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? It's the victim.
Take that!
Because if the drop of blood, because there's a drop on the card, the victim's position wouldn't be there, it would be reverse. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You would think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him. Ah! Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood will fall on the floor, not on the cards.
Oh, that's right. So what does this mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around.
The chair was facing the other way?
It would have to be. So, we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table.
When Miss Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing?
When I came back to the room, the body was facing the scene in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at this diagram once more. We now know the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction.
Again?
Let's test your reasoning skills, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? This guy.
Take that!
Who doesn't make sense is the second witness. You mean to say I don't make sense? Oh, no, of course you do, sir. As I thought.
Help.
Fuck! Oh, I'm stupid. It's the killer. It would be the killer.
Take that!
It would be the killer. The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Hitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it would be quite hard, yes.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall? In the middle of a game.
I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light.
What?
There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking on the diagram.
But
There's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's take it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget everything else. The killer will have to be right here.
Take that!
Inside this freaking cabinet that's so freaking tall. Like, it's so ridiculous, but since it's Phoenix Wright, it works so well. It's simple logic, really. If this is the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there!
What's this now?
I mean, that's an explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. You should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately.
Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard.
Your Honor.
What?
There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give them this to the bailiff. Please give this to the bailiff.
Yes. I see. Ooh. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at this diagram once again. It's been changed. The killer was standing here at the time. And the cupboard wasn't here, which means... Apollo, try to move the cupboard. Oh! Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it had to be shown here. But now, something doesn't make sense. What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Oh, dang! Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. I jumped the gun a bit here. That's how I got that wrong. I jumped the gun. Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs.
Ah!
That's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What? What did you say? Oh, it's the coolest offense in us losing his cool. Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin.
and someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court. Exactly where did you witness the crime scene from?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Order. It's a court of law and I have order. We just received word from our investigative team at the BBC. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor.
Oh, and what did they find?
Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it.
What?
Ah, yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I don't remember saying something about that now. How do you mention something? A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal going-ons. Even though you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room's a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. And enjoy a cold bowl of bullshit, no doubt. Just like our killer. Phoenix is cooking. He's cooking with gas. I love it. 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 So excited. You see where our line of simple deduction and reasoning has led us, Apollo. I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for that last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Come on, say something.
I asked what really happened that night?
Actually, I think we could probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. This old girl really was out cold, struck on Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. It was right when upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. Bro, this is so BS, but it works in Phoenix Wright lore. The victim must have heard a couple were sliding inside. He rolled his shirt around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the car. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. A single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him, he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red.
Well, it seems this trial is taking yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Believe when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
Objection!
Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin. Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick.
Excuse me?
The defendant is clear of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. That's why it hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney.
Legal evidence?
Objection!
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there any reason at present to suspect me of a wrongdoing? Of course! This bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Well, actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were, upside down.
I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court, in this case, demanded an explanation. I can think of only one reason why you would hold a bottle upside down. As to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor. See how the pot fish forms to the last.
Well, Apollo?
Yes. The boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you could come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that. Yeah. Just like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down? Other than to... Don't let him trick you into thinking explanation is only a legitimate one. Is there really another? Let's go look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there. In plain sight. How about you say the answer in plain words? Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done.
Take that!
It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair.
Excuse me? On the floor.
You know what's so crazy? I've been grabbing my bottle like this the whole trial. Like literally the whole stream's entire video. I've grabbed my bottle like this. I've only known to grab my bottle like this. So it makes sense that my fingerprints, it's only to take my fingerprints and see that, oh, you got prints upside down and like this, you know, like, come on now. Yes, now reach down and pick it up without getting out of your chair. So yeah, so naturally someone would grab it by its neck. And naturally you'll go at it like this. With your fingers upside down. Because I don't know anyone who, like, let's see what. I grabbed it like this, but that's hard to do. Alright, that's hard as hell. We're not gonna do this. Simple as that. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times.
Wow, I can't believe it was that simple.
We'll call it dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then, too.
Order. What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof?
Proof?
Well, that's, as I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty.
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation at the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Oh, yes. I remember about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the BBC. And here's one of the bottles in question.
What are you gonna... What, are you gonna touch that for fingerprints too? I would be surprised if anyone on that but his. This Gavin probably wouldn't be such one makes us not mistake. True. I wouldn't want to bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humor me. Shove it down your throat. Okay? Mr. Wright.
Are you sure? Oh, I'm very sure. Deep throat the bottle. That bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. The 5 of hearts. The one that he brought up earlier. What's this? That card. It can't be. Recall that I put it on the sesame for a moment. Is Oglo really? Yeah. A little swindling Devoshka. That night, I played at the card like I was supposed to. And White lost the last hand like he was supposed to. That Smith searched him. But the play the card was gone. The trap failed. Wait! This isn't... You're telling me that this is the plated card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in the piece of testimony? I would have put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of that card. Before the game. Dispose? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. 5 of hearts. This is the card. Bottles are swapped. The only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Oh! Aww. He blue-balled me. He edged me. How dare you edged me? You bastard. But we got him. That is all. That do be all. You do well, Mr. Wright. You do well. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in a proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, alright?
This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
I'm sorry, Payne, but you're simply here for decoration. I believe this time we finally come to the end of the trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report on for us on Mr. Christoph Gavin?
He submitted everything. We're processing his arrest right now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
That's alright. Have you ever anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. At our profession, to be sure, that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a full investigation, Your Honor.
Good. That's right. Yes. 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed 2 things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated. This courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In other words, a defense attorney, you, Apollo. Me? It's a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems to be like a good idea to announce a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Rain the confetti! It's been 7 years! Oh, no wonder there's confetti in the courtroom. Court is adjourned. Now everybody, on 3, 2, 1, now get the fuck out! April 20th, 4:28 p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 3!
Thanks, Apollo. Came through, just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gavin, the killer. I could have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness then. You said you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You have to find the answer to that question for yourself. The answer. Alright. Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Eh? I took this off the neck. I took this off his neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist sold me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified! You said this locket was yours! I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth is in the best one. Give it time. You're still getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo. Yes? How about coming to work for me? You mean at the Wright & Company Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know about it. I can imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of all of it was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reached a sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. It just seemed well too perfect. You're talking about the bloody... I love when they do these too, like little bonus things where it's like, hey, someone cooked here. I need you to figure out what ingredient I used. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us. The court can accept this evidence. It's a fraud! Fraud? How can you be so sure? I don't think the only person who claimed it was a fraud. The one who took the real card from the crime scene. See, he used forged evidence to get Gavin, to get himself up the hook, and to get Gavin caught. So, while he did technically cheat, Gavin couldn't say too much, or his ass would be butter. Well, it's already butter. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then, you really? Yes, I forged this card. Don't look at the crime scene, should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling himself an attorney? Follow? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters now, does it? I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that," next time. I find it packs a little more punch. Did you just reference Marvel vs. Capcom? Now, I know at the time of the game, he wasn't in MVC3 yet, but it's a little foreshadowing then. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries were unsolved, and at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'll find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. The end. Save your current progress? Absolutely. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the trial. Alright? I appreciate you all for coming here and being a part of the first trial of what will be many trials here on not just twitch.tv/Novanagi, but on youtube.com/Novanagi. I appreciate you all for coming here, appreciate you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, then hey, leave a like, comment down what you liked about the video, and share it with your friends. And with that, I bid you all adieu. Goodbye. Good night.